Hi students, this is a discussion or a review of the concept of osmosis that we noticed or observed in our lab. Osmosis is the movement of water in relationship to concentrations of salts. Not only salt, sugars also can apply. Basically, any place when there's a difference in concentration of certain types of atoms, you will see water moving in relationship from low concentration to high concentration. This is the fundamental concept, so low to high. So let's take a look at the gummy bear. The gummy bear has salts and sugars inside of it, and then we put it into water. So in this case, the gummy has a high concentration of salt compared to the water. This is low concentration. So the water is going to move into the gummy. And we saw that. We saw that the gummy went from like 2 grams to, I think it varied for each of you, but something like 8 grams or 10 grams. It got significantly big. It got really swollen to the point where it was barely holding on to its original form. You could barely recognize it as it grew so much larger. Now, when we compare that to the gummy in the salt water, what we see is, in this case, the gummy had low concentration of salt compared to the salt water itself. The salt concentration in the liquid, in the water, was higher than it was inside of the gummy. So there was not too much water. There was a little bit of water moving into the gummy, but not that much, because there is so much higher concentration of salt inside of the gummy. So we did see a slight increase in the overall size of the gummy, but not significantly. I would say, if I recall, it went from 2 grams to like 6 grams or something along those lines. If we had put the gummy into pure salt, what we would have seen would have been whatever liquid. There's not a lot of liquid inside of gummies, but whatever liquid that there was in there would have left the gummy because the salt concentration was higher outside of the gummy. This is a really important concept to understand how cells operate, because maintaining salt concentrations and maintaining water concentrations inside of the cell is extremely important. And cells have mechanisms to try to maintain homeostasis with regards to both salt concentration inside of cells and water concentration inside of cells. So among the things that we've discussed and observed is putting cells into a highly salt saline environment will result in drying out those cells. This is one way that we are able to kill bacteria, for example. When you gargle with salt, one of the things that happens is inflamed cells are able to draw some of the water inside of them. Salt is also capable of killing bacteria. This is why it is a good preservative. It draws water out of the foods so that bacteria are not able to grow, and it is also, because it is so highly salted, any bacteria that might grow on there would dry out. So this, how water moves in regard to concentrations of salt, is an extremely important concept to understand, and one that we will continue to explore.